Good morning, good morning, good morning, people. Welcome to Morning Drive episode 6. My name's Thomas Curtis. I'm your host. Thank you so much for bringing me on your morning drive this morning on July 24th, 2026. Red Sox had an off day yesterday. They open up one more series on their homestand against another AL East opponent. First it was the Rays, then it was the Orioles, who snapped the 15-game win streak. And now they welcome in the Toronto Blue Jays. Today we've got a pretty long episode, actually. Don't have to be at work till noon, so ideally we'll get through a lot of stuff. As I said, we'll do the Toronto preview. I've got 5 questions I want the Red Sox to answer in these next 10 games before the trade deadline to see what kind of team they are. We'll talk a lot about the Red Sox there. It's going to start out as kind of a Toronto introduction, a team that's 5th place in the AL East, really scuffling here lately, especially after they swept the Red Sox in June. Both teams kind of went on completely different paths since then, and now those intersect again in late July. I was going to say something as I was talking through that, and I completely lost it. So we'll get into the news to open up this morning drive. Jordan Walsh signed a 3-year, $15 million contract extension with the Celtics. It's always the Red Sox right now, but that's with the Celtics. High impact defensive guy, high energy, shot a better clip last season. I think they're really banking on him being a complementary piece to Tatum off the bench when they get into those Tatum bench units. And also, because of that Jaylen Brown trade they made, I don't know if you've heard of it, they traded Jaylen Brown. They're banking on Peyton Pritchard being a really good second or third option. That's not a tall guy. Peyton Pritchard, 6'1", maybe on a good day with some lifts in his shoes. So they're looking for lengthy, tall defenders that they can slot in next to Pritchard and not really have to worry about him defensively. As great as he is on ball, you're somewhat limited at 6 feet tall. So I think they're really excited about Jordan Walsh, a guy that in his first couple years was in Maine, was not really playing because they were playing such high-level games, but really buddied up with Jaylen Brown. I think learned a ton from him last season and has become a big locker room presence for the Celtics. It seems like I think back to that summer league picture they posted. It was Tatum, Walsh, Derek White, Pritchard. Like those seem to be the guys on this iteration of the Celtics coming up in the fall. And I don't know how many minutes he plays at 3 years, $15 million a year. It's $5 million. It's not like they're guaranteeing him anything. So Jordan Walsh, a contract extension, another late first round pick. Brad can't draft, they say, but he keeps finding kind of impact guys late in the first round when other teams are drafting. Jalen Hood-Schifino is the one that comes to mind. Like guys like that, where a lot of those guys don't make it to a second contract with one team. So Jordan Walsh back in Boston for at least another 3 years, barring a trade. One that came out earlier this morning on July 24th, Bob Nightingale says the Red Sox plan to be aggressive buyers at the trade deadline. They have their eyes on CJ Abrams and salivate, which is an interesting choice of words, at the thought of Shea Langeliers, Zach Neto of the Los Angeles Angels, also a name to think about. I'll believe it when I see it, especially with the lockout looming and what Craig Breslow has done in the past couple years at the trade deadline. I see him making a splash? Ideally, because I really want the Red Sox to be good. You want to be calculated. I am out on trading Arias for anybody. He's the number 1 prospect in baseball, especially for a team that's 3rd place in the AL East. Maybe if we were first, like kind of in a Dodgers situation, and yeah, we have the number 1 prospect in baseball, but we're also good. If Marcelo Meyer showed me anything all year, maybe I'd be more inclined. But I think Arias is the shortstop of the future in Boston. So I'm out on trading him. Everybody else is kind of up for grabs. I would love CJ Abrams to play second base or left field the way this team is set up. You can't trot him out at shortstop and not be worried. I think he could play a decent enough, but there are some mistakes that come with him. I don't know what his DRS or anything like that is, but he's hitting the shit out of the ball. I don't even know. He's got 24 homers. Fangraphs had projected him 20 at the start of the season. We've got 60 games to play. So he's smoking the ball. 286, 359, 544 with a 143 weighted runs created. I mean, I'd do anything to have this guy on the team. Nationals mostly out of it. If I could find some defensive metrics anywhere, that'd be great. But you get the gist. He's not a good defender in the way the Red Sox are set up to pitch. How is that even a possibility? To play shortstop, it's not. Straight up, it's not. It's an interesting report from Nightingale, someone that's wrong a lot, puts out a lot of big name reports, but also very clearly has sources. So the Red Sox seem to be buyers. I'm waiting for Cotillo or Ian Brown or Tim Healy, who's been really good this season as a beat reporter. I'm waiting for one of those guys to announce that. Speaking of Red Sox announcements, sounds like Garrett Crochet's out for the season. He wants to be, his goal, in air quotes, is now he wants to be back for the playoffs. It was originally August. It seems like we've seen the last of Crochet, which really stinks. And even if we do see him, I think my perfect world is he's a reliever and we get him for 1 or 2 innings every couple of days. But I almost don't even want to risk it. It's almost the Tatum situation at this point where you're like, we'll see you not even next year. We'll see you in 2 years because of the lockout. It's tough. Garrett Crochet, Cy Young guy last season. And the Red Sox are pitching out of their minds without him. It's very impressive. It's terrible, terrible luck that both Crochet and Anthony have been out for as long as they have and continue to not get really encouraging reports. There's your news for the morning drive. A couple of big pieces of news. I enjoyed, making this sheet and being like, oh yeah, Jordan Walsh, a Red Sox trader report. Sadly, the Crochet report. But those are 3 big pieces of news in New England. We'll move on to the Red Sox and Blue Jays preview. We'll get to the 5 questions the Red Sox need to answer here later in the episode. But it's the Red Sox. They're 52-49 in 3rd place in the AL East, 4.5 games back of 2nd place. And the Yankees, who are 7-3 in their last 10. The Blue Jays, 47-56 in 5th place in the same division. The Blue Jays have reeled off 5 straight against the Red Sox since Boston won the first game of the season series. In the last series in June, when the Sox were really in the bad place, they scored 4 runs in 3 games. It was a big pitching effort. It was Gausman, Ysav. I believe it was the same 3 that the Sox have this series, at least in terms of probable pitchers. So we'll get to the probables. It is tonight at 7:10 p.m. Patrick Sandoval, 0-0 with a 4.82 ERA. Trey Savage, 4-5 with a 3.78. Trey Savage, absolutely dominant last season. We've got some notes a little bit about him not being as dominant, but still a very good pitcher. Talk about very good pitchers. Saturday, 4:10 p.m., a duel at Fenway. Sonny Gray, 12-1, 2.48 versus Dylan Cease, 6-5 with a 2.67. 2 of the best pitchers in the American League. 2 of the best pitchers in all of MLB. Cease has been incredible. Sonny Gray, such a delight, as I say. Just such a delight. And Sunday afternoon at 1:35 p.m., it's TBD, which could be Peyton Tolley. It could be Ranger Suarez, depending on if they want Suarez to have another series of rest, which he was supposed to throw game 2 against Baltimore, and all of a sudden we're talking about seeing him next week. We need Suarez. We need 6 innings out of Suarez as soon as we can get him. And it's Kevin Gausman, 4-9. Blue Jays have lost 9 of Gausman's starts. He's got a 4.51. There are your probables. As for Toronto's pitching, Dylan Cease has been unstoppable. 155 strikeouts this season, leads the American League. A 114 whip, 196 batting average against. It's a 239 FIP. His FIP is better than his ERA, and his ERA is 2.67. He started the All-Star game, dominated us on June 16th with 5 shutty, and he's better on the road. I kept looking for a stat to be encouraged by for Red Sox hitters on Saturday. I couldn't. 2.28 ERA, a 110 whip, and a 183 batting average against. On the road for Dylan Cease. Savage, not in the greatest of places, but he's not in the bad place. It's a 4.68 FIP as compared to a 3.78 ERA. He's hittable. He's been hittable all year. Not, completely a zero for the first 7 innings every time you see him, like he was in 2025. Gausman has given up 114 hits in 115 innings and walked 34. It's a 1.28 whip for Kevin Gausman and 1.44 on the road. He hasn't not been the shutout kind of guy. It seems like he could be a trade chip for Toronto. I don't know why I keep saying the T so hard. Toronto. It's Toronto. The Toronto Blue Jays. Those are your pitchers that you'll see. This is a really good 3. For a 5th place team in the AL East, it's probably one of the best pitching staffs you've seen since Boston was in 5th a couple weeks ago. 3 guys that any given night can go out and give you 8 shutty. But especially with Boston's lineup and the way that they've been hitting recently, you got to get to them early, try to chase them. And that bullpen has not been fantastic. I don't know what their bullpen ranks are. But there's the pitching staff. As for the hitters in their last 7, so I kind of did their last 2 series. They lost 2 of 3 to Chicago and then lost 3 of 4 to Tampa Bay. They won that final game yesterday on a Shane Bieber standout performance, which we'll hear about later. George Springer's 364, 417, 591 with 2 doubles and a homer, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 5 RBI in his last 7. Kazuo Komodo, one of the best Japanese signings in the offseason, has been very hot and cold because he was really hot to open the season, really cold in May. And boy, I'll tell you, he's really cold right now. 0 for 22. He's only been on base with 2 walks in his last 7 games. Alejandro Kirk, one of the better hitting catchers, at least, in the American League. 5 for 16 with a bomb and 3 walks in his last 7. And when you filter by batting average on MLB.com, talking about Toronto, Ernie Clement's first. You're like, oh, having a nice little stretch here, 8 for 27. But it's only 8 singles. He's no power. 641 OPS in his last 7. Always been a contact guy, but kind of jarring to see nothing. He hasn't reached second base on a hit in the last 7 games. Straight singles. So not a lot of power from Ernie Clement. It's a lineup that has scuffled a ton. They've lost 5 of their last 7. The Red Sox, as hot as they are, 20 of their last 23, have a good chance to go out and kind of bury the Blue Jays. I said they could bury, I want to say Sacramento or Vegas or Oakland, but they don't have a town. The Athletics. I said that they could bury the Athletics next week. This is a team they could really bury. You could put them 47 and 59, 12 games under 500. Excuse me. And kind of ruin any hope they have. Toronto loses 3 with 10 games to go at the trade deadline, or for the trade to get to the trade deadline, excuse me. They're selling. Gausman's probably gone. You wonder if they trade Springer because he's towards the end of his contract. I mean, they're out of it. A team that was in the World Series, went to 7 games with the Dodgers last season, pretty much didn't change anything. Show you how volatile baseball is. Because this team is nowhere near where they were last season, as hot as they were. Not anymore. There are your probables. What the hell is going on with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? I don't have any of his real stats up, but it's not. He has 6 home runs on the year. This is a guy that is perennially 30, 35 bombs. Not really a scary hitter. They've turned him into Luis Arraez somehow. I don't know what's going on. I'm taking a look at his Savant, and everything looks very similar. His launch angles are similar to last year. His velo, his bat speed, his squared up percentage. But his X slug is down 100 points. It was 4 something, and now it's down to 3 something on the X slug. Really weird season from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Baseball volatility once again. I mean, that's half the reason they're in 5th place is they bank on this first base DH guy hitting 30, 35 bombs, and he's at 6 at the end of July. It's no good. It's no good for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It's not that his career's over or anything, but a down season for sure, something he'll need to come back from. For Boston, notes coming in the series, Sandoval, it's a 3 FIP, 3.42 xFIP. He's been good in 2 games against Tampa Bay and the White Sox. The Tampa Bay got obviously knocked around. It was rainy, second game start from being out 2 years. You got excuses. Still a 35% ground ball rate. I could see him shutting them down tonight, but I could also see 5 or 6 runs. I know that's bad take making, but Sandoval's a guy that there's not much to predict on because he's only thrown twice in a Red Sox uniform. So there's not much to go off of. But the stats say he's been good, and he's a guy that needs to give innings, so you got to hope he'll be good tonight and he'll be good in the future. 3 right-handers. Yoshida should lead off all 3 games. I'll get his leadoff split up. But Masataka Yoshida, much better than Anthony Siegler, who we talked about yesterday. Batting first. Batting first in 6 games for Masataka Yoshida. It's a 318 batting average, 375 OBP, 500 slug for an 875 OPS. He's got 11 total bases, a 333 BABIP, a 137 OPS plus with 1 homer and only 1 RBI. Professional hitter all the way through. Has been really good this season. In July, it's a 342, 390, 600. Talk about riding the hot hand. Ride this hot hand for Yoshida. It's got to be. It's a joke if it's Siegler this afternoon or this evening. It can't be. I think they're done. I believe Tracy's ready to do that, especially with the 1 for 4 the other night in the loss, and the winning streak's over, as we talked about yesterday. But yeah, it's got to be Yoshida. So I had batting first. Oh, and I wanted versus right-handed pitching. Weirdly better against left-handers batting average-wise. 266 against righties, 286 against lefties. And the OPS is even better. It's kind of funny. But yeah, 266, 338, 390. This is a quality at-bat, a 730 OPS against right-handers. To open up the offense, if he's getting on base, that 340 OBP, get on base for Seti, who's proven to be a good situational hitter this season, and then Willier and Contreras in the 3-4. You could open up the game with a run right there. I think Duran is another leadoff option, which is ridiculous because I'm the biggest Duran hater there is. He's been smoking the ball. There's no way around him not smoking the ball. In July, It's still a 157 and a 528 OPS, but 13 RBI. It's his second best RBI month already. And May, we all know he was fantastic. 261, 331, 548 for Jarren Duran in May. He's hitting the ball really hard. And I think you can't deny that they need his production in left field. If he's a guy they want to go to at the one spot, I'd still be upset because how could it not be Yoshida when you're looking at the stats? Especially with Duran's 254 OBP in July. It should be Yoshida. If it's Duran, I'll be like, all right, maybe this is when he goes out of the leadoff spot. But it's a 215, 269, 409 slug, which is crazy. Brings him to a 678 OPS out of the leadoff spot in 197 plate appearances. Sorry, I bought something off of Facebook Marketplace, got a text from the woman. You'll see that soon. It's supposed to come Monday. Pretty pumped about it. A little Red Sox windbreaker. I'm excited. I mean, no way I don't wear that on the podcast. It's a 127 OPS in the leadoff spot for Duran. So those are the two options. It can't be Seigler again. Those are your leadoff options for the Red Sox in this series. Already 20 minutes into the stream. Impressive stuff for a preview. I'm pumped up about this series. This is a series that they've got to win, and that can kind of segue us into our 5 questions that need to be answered, because although the Blue Jays lineup hasn't been great this season, there are hitters, and Okamoto could get out of that 0 for 22. Guerrero is still dangerous, as bad as he's been this season. Springer, really good in the last 7 games. Ernie Clement, Davis Schneider is back. Saw a stat today, 30 and 13 for the Blue Jays when Davis Schneider is in the lineup. He was hurt. They had sent him to AAA, so obviously not on that pace all the time. But oddly a difference maker. I don't know what he would I don't watch Blue Jays games, so I don't know what he's doing. It's a 573 OPS, 150 batting. What the hell? How are they 30 and 13 with him on the roster? I don't know. But he's also in the lineup. This is a lineup that could go. They like hitting at Fenway. They've showed that. So the first question I have, can they survive and win a series where the starters only give you, example, 1 quality start, or it's 3 straight blowups, which I don't know, the Red Sox have had 3 straight bad starting performances. But can the offense win you a couple games? Oh shit, Sonny Gray, isn't the 248 today. Wasn't awesome against Tampa. Was fine, wasn't awesome. Can the offense pick these guys up, especially in the early innings? Can they make it, they scored 4 runs in the first 3 innings, but we scored 6 and it's 6-4 and we're getting it to our bullpen. Don't worry, Sonny. It's something I worry about every day. Are they going to blow up? Is the pitching staff going to blow up and the offense isn't going to go? So my number one question that needs to be answered, especially in these next 10 games when you play the Dodgers on the road after it's the last 3 games up to the deadline, that's a lineup they're going to hit. I don't care who you've got on the bump. Can you win a couple games when Jack Dreyer is starting or Roki Sasaki is starting, who hasn't been great? The offense has got to go a little bit to prove something to me. The next question I've got that the Red Sox need to answer, do you have anything coming to save you off the IL? We've talked about trades for about a month now. It was selling, now it's buying. Stories coming off the IL. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa off the IL. Marcelo Meyer off the IL. I don't think we see him again this season in Boston unless he goes down to AAA and he's hitting 400. But they're going to frame it as a rehab, and then he'll just be sent down. On the pitching side, Connolly early coming back. Tanner Houck throwing 2 bullpens a week. Johan Oviedo was in a trade for the password. He was supposed to be an arm that contributed a lot in it. Not a lot, but a solid amount of innings this season. You've completely missed him. Cutter Crawford's thrown a bullpen this week. You have guys coming off the IL. Is there anything that's not going to save you? But are they going to give you production that's not, for example, Anthony Siegler, Sung-Shae Chang, right? Can Story be, half of what he was in 2025? The second half of 2025 when he was effing fantastic. He was one of the heroes of that season. In 2025, it was a 263 batting average, 741 OPS. And he played you a solid shortstop. Can he play a solid shortstop? You know what? If we trade for CJ Abrams and it's Trevor Story and CJ Abrams in the middle infield, this is the best team in the American. So are these IL guys, Connolly Early, how's he going to look when he comes off the IL with elbow soreness? You got to monitor his innings a little bit, even though I liked the break that he got from this IL stint because he hasn't thrown all these major league innings before. Is he going to be able to spot the way he has? Is the homer problem still going to be an issue because he's given up? You can kind of pencil him in for 2 jacks a game, especially when he's pitching at Fenway. So what does he look like? How can Crawford, do they exist? I know they're throwing bullpens, and I know I've named them, but do they exist is the question. So those are the guys coming off the IL for the Sox. Can you get anything out of them? And with IKF, can he come back within these next 10 games? So I don't know if any of these questions will be answered before the trade deadline, but it is certainly a question that needs to be answered this second half. Next up, Worcester's staff is full of relievers, especially lefties. Samaniego, Eduardo Rivera, who pitched the other night, but he's a better reliever than he is a starter. And Angel Bastardo has been really good in July. Those are 3 guys in Worcester. Can any of them give you MLB innings? Not starting, but can they come up and throw 2 innings? And they've all got options, plenty of them. Samaniego, I believe, has 2 more. And he was really good in May. Can any of those guys come up and kind of help with the bullpen workload? Maybe, spell Guerrero for a little bit because he throws a solid amount and he's been awesome. I'm not saying he's bad. He's literally been one of the best relievers in baseball. But can they relieve the reliever, and not have to go to Guerrero every time you're in a tight game? What's the record in the next 10 games coming up to the deadline? On August 3rd, it's 3 first Toronto, 4 in Sacramento against the A's, and then to finish it off, it's 3 against the Dodgers. It's got to be a winning record. It's 6-4, 7-3. The Talking Jake 8-2. It could be. You could sweep Toronto. You could sweep the A's. Those are 2 very possible things. A 5th place team in the AL East and a 4th place team in the AL West. And the only reason they're not last is because they play in a division with the Angels. And then the Dodgers, do you lose 2 games because that team is a wagon and it's the NL and it's a different beast. But an 8-2 is possible. A 7-3 is possible. You get to 5-5. 500 ball going into the deadline. You get to a losing record. Talk about a bad place. My prediction is 7-3. I think they win 2 out of 3 against Toronto, sweep the A's. That puts you at 6, and then they win 1 against the Dodgers, 7-3. Also, who the hell is selling in the MLB? I feel like we've had a ton of reports. These last 10 games kind of are the decider of who's selling, who's buying. With the lockout looming, teams are not going to want to buy guys on a 1.5-year contract because they won't play next year in 2027, or it won't be a full season, that's for sure. So who's selling is the final question, and that will be answered before the deadline. So 4 questions that will be answered before the deadline. 1, Story won't be back. Meyer's not coming back. How Crawford, Oviedo probably not coming back before the deadline. It's really early in Story. Can those guys give you, or early in IKF, excuse me, can those guys give you anything? You hope so. So those are the 5 questions the Red Sox need to answer. Finally, we'll get on to standout performances. I told you. Chris Sale, 6 innings, 3 earned, 11 strikeouts, and a win against San Diego. I was looking at the slate for tonight, yesterday, last night, and I told you Chris Sale was going to shove, and we'd see him this morning. We do. We also see Gavin Williams, 7 innings, 11 Ks, and a shutout performance against Minnesota. He still lost. The Guardians still lose to the Twins, couldn't get any run support. Speaking of the Guardians, Shane Bieber's former team, now he's on the Blue Jays. The Red Sox miss out on a 7-inning, 1 earned, 3 strikeout win on the back end of that Tampa series to salvage and not get mopped. Taj Bradley, 7 innings for the Twins in that win against Cleveland. So him and Gavin Williams dueled it out, 5 strikeouts. And our only hitter on the performance list tonight, Tyler Locklear, 3 for 5. He had a home run, a double, and a single. RBI in 2 different at-bats for 3 on the night against St. Louis. There are your standout performances. All guys that Tyler Locklear is pretty much the only one that you might not see again. We probably see Gavin Williams again in 5 days. We probably see Sale again in 5 days. I wouldn't bank on Bieber going 7 with only 1 Ernie next week, but Bradley could. Bradley's such a great a great thrower, not a great pitcher, but such a great thrower, high ceiling thrower, that he could give you that same performance he did last night. So there are your standout performances. As for this weekend, we'll do 3 series I'm interested in, 3 I could, oh my God, I don't care. Shout out to Asa Cutter, texted me, kind of liked this idea of, picking 3 and 3 and monitoring them over the week or the weekend. And this is my first look at the slate. Talked to Will Warman, my roommate. We love looking at the slate, whether it be college football, whether it be the NFL, whether it be college basketball on a Tuesday night. Love looking at the slate. So let's call this looking at the slate. A look ahead to the slate. We'll see. We'll workshop the name. So the Blue Jays and Red Sox don't count because of the Red Sox. I will be watching these games. It's not a monitor. My first one, as I can see immediately, 57-45 Yankees at the 56-47 Phillies. I've got to pay attention to that one. Say the Phillies reel off 3 wins against a really good Yankees team. Are they the second best team in the NL? Are they better than the Brewers? Probably not. They're probably third, though. They probably get past the Braves. Guardians Rays is another one, another AL East team I've got to monitor, but those are 2 teams that do similar things. Pitching, manufacturing runs, not really slugging much, but they're going to pitch. Tonight's pitching matchup for them is Joey Cantillo, Roman Empire, Rosti, and Shane McClanahan, who threw against the Sox when I was there. So that'll be a game to monitor. And Mariners Rangers is going to be the wild card race. You gotta look at 51-52 for the Mariners. They're a game worse in the loss column than the 51-51 Rangers. So we'll be checking in on that one. Our 3 to watch: Yankees, Phillies, Guardians, Rays, and Mariners Rangers. And as for, oh my God, I don't care, the 10:15 game, if you want to watch some baseball at 10:15, Angels, Giants. Oh my God, I don't care. Next up, Dodgers, Mets. Dodgers win 3 straight. And finally, Rockies, Brewers. There you go. 64-38 Brewers against the 41-63 Rockies. So the 2 best teams in the NL have layups this weekend. And then I don't care about the 2 worst teams in baseball. Those are your 3 up, 3 down games to watch or games to not watch this weekend. And this has been the Morning Drive. I've got a sponsor lined up. I've got one. I ideally have a second. I would really like to get a camera because I don't think the 720p webcam makes me look very professional, but that's what we're rocking with right now. So that's ideal. We've got things in the works for this podcast. As always, if you'd like to support, my email will be in this description, is what I'm looking for. I'm sure if you're watching this, you have a way to contact me. Hit me if you'd like to be a presenting sponsor. If you have ideas, again, hit me. If you've watched all the way through, please please subscribe, because we're going to try and do this a majority of mornings from here on out. That's been the morning drive. Thank you so much for driving with me on July 24th. We will be back tomorrow to talk about the Red Sox game before work. I'm Thomas Curtis. See you tomorrow.